Hi, Justin. This is Karyn White calling for the interview.
Since I was in second grade and watching BET enthusiastically when they used to show the Facts of Love video on Video Soul, I've been a fan ever since. So
Oh my
I was a little nervous before this one because it's like I feel like in some way like I've known you since my childhood because of your music. You know, I still remember when I first bought the Karyn White tape and then the Ritual Love CD and everything. So it's an honor. So I thank you.
Oh, I thank you. This is great.
So let's start kind of from the beginning. From what I've heard you talk about before, you had a very supportive environment as a child for pursuing your passion of entertainment. So tell me, given that, what was a typical day like in the life of Karyn White, the youngster?
Oh, Karyn White, the youngster.
Well, not that you're not young, but you know what I mean.
I was a leader. I was the person who would gather up everybody and say, okay, gosh, let's make up a dance. Let's listen to Denise Williams and who can hit the high runs and and let's do a talent show and let's ask the teachers if we can perform at the PTA. Just always something.
That's
very, very athletic. I ran track, played basketball, just, very competitive.
Yeah. And you did a lot of activities, like I think you did pageants and dance lessons, acting.
Talent shows, singing lessons. Just I went to a school that was sort of like Fame, and that's when I was like in at the junior high and high school.
Now, was this in California?
Yeah, it was for the summer. It was a summer program, a government program for underprivileged kids, and it was incredible.
How exactly did you land then as a touring vocalist with O'Brien? How did you get to that point?
Well, that was through an audition. Being in Los Angeles, the great part is that, you have access to, musicians and I had, people that I wrote with that were actually a part of the band, and they told me and at that time he was like he was like the Eric Benet at that time, and so it was a big deal. It was and then Don Cornelius. It was intimidating. It was so. Like,
so were you auditioning for him as well?
For both, yeah.
Okay.
For Don Cornelius and O'Brien, yeah.
Okay.
So that was like extremely intimidating. But he gave me a wink and let me know.
And
Don Cornelius.
And you've said that from that experience that you really learned that this is a business. It's not just fun, and so you learn from the mistakes you make in those formative experiences. So what exactly did you learn about the business being a part of that first tour that you were on, both business and performance-wise maybe?
Oh, well, I just learned that, you have to carry yourself in a way that is presentable, especially being the only female on the road. And guys, appearance, abstain from all appearance of evil. Take your butt up to the bus after the gig. Don't get caught up. Don't hang out. You can't be, this is business. This is, you got to wake up in the morning and perform. You can't stay up all night and party and think you're going to sound good.
And one thing that I had heard you say was that getting the deal was the easy part, but then you have to really prove yourself. So, I was curious for you. You kind of came in a unique way, being a featured artist, not the headlining artist, but still a very prominent part of Jeff Lorber's record. So was it, would you say it was a given that then you would have your solo career there, or did you have to do a lot of things to secure that deal for yourself and prove yourself?
Oh yeah, the record had to perform.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have success, and we did. Jeff Lorber. It was a big album for him. Probably, I think, his biggest album.
Mm-hmm.
So we performed. The single performed, and that's when Warner Brothers gave us the shot to have our own careers. But then, then you got to know who you are and what separates you from every other artist, and know your lane. And then it became, I started working with writers, and at first we were, we didn't come together until I got with Ellie and Babyface, and they really helped shape who Karyn White was through my style and separating me, and that was their gift, you know, especially to be able to see, you know, what was special in me.
After that, Make 'Em Do Right, I know the only thing I heard from you for a long time was you sang with a saxophonist named Eddie M. on the song Keep Pushing, and but then for a long time we didn't hear from you, so I was just curious, like, was it more personal reasons that kind of took you away, or was it more professional ones why you decided to just kind of disappear for a while?
I decided not to, I mean, just, actually, I had my child. It was personal, and I just didn't like, I went through, you know, a very tough time. I lost the two loves of my life, my mom and my husband. I got a divorce. I had transition. I have been trying to be famous and in the, you know, as driven at 8 years old. So I had been doing this a long time, and I was successful at it, but I wasn't successful at life. So for me, Karyn had to become a woman. So that's what I did. I had to go on my journey and say, okay, you know, this isn't success when you lose, when you have everything in the world and you lose the things that most mean something to you, my family. So it just, you know, to me, success is being, you know, it's being in the will of God. It's not just being famous. So my whole life to come up under the subjection of what success was, and that's why I stepped back, because I didn't feel I was successful.
Well, that's a very practical move, and it's good that you had the insight to take time to retreat and look at things instead of kind of just going on and maybe making more mistakes.
You got that right. You know, and that's where people start drinking and drugs, and you know what I mean? All of that stuff.
Definitely.
Like, no.
Well, it's interesting because I know that you've the term you've kind of coined for your new musical direction is retro acoustic, I believe, and so. So given that, I'm curious, like, when you're coming back now after extended time away, do you keep your musical past in mind when you're coming up with material, or is it totally just starting over, like a totally new, different Karyn White?
No, you definitely know who you are in your lane. You know, I know, especially that I'm have such a big following with the, you know, with women, and I know what I'm looked at as. So that definitely plays into when I sing songs like Unbreakable and you know, True Colors and inspirational things that are, you know, overcoming. So I know that's, you know, that's who I am. So I don't try to, that's just smart. But of course you want to be today, you know, you don't want to,
you know, repeat the past.
I mean,
when you decided to start doing this album, did you from the get-go say, I'm going to do this independently, or did you consider looking for another deal, or what were your thoughts on that part of the process?
No. See, when I was away, I was an entrepreneur, and I'm a businesswoman. I'm flipping homes. I'm trying to be Donald Trump. I'm, you know, I'm a builder. I'm investing. This is commercial real estate. I'm not the same artist, so I'm a smart woman who wants to be famous at the bank.
Right.
So there's no way I'm going to sign these 360 deals because they don't make sense. So, you know, so for me, it didn't make sense. Why would I come back when I have a name? I don't need you guys to, you know, Warner Brothers spent millions of dollars on want people to know my name. All I have to do is get back out there. So I just saw the business opportunity in it. And I never wanted to be with a label. I wanted to do it through Karyn White Enterprises and a joint venture. But unless the label was giving me millions of dollars or made sense, yeah, of course. But other than that, I wasn't.
Okay.
I had to be smart. I wanted to be smart.
Let's talk about a few of the songs on here on Carpe Diem. First of all, just in terms of the title, Carpe Diem, how did it come to you?
It came to Bobbie Jean. He actually was telling me about, I was in the hospital and I had 3 surgeries that were unplanned.
Really?
And it was crazy. All of a sudden, oh my God, you know, I had female problems, and then it turned into like a mistake that the doctor made, and then something happened. So I was like, oh, he said, you're Carpe Diem. You know, he's like, your season's day, you're going to be all right. I was like, what? Carpe Diem? So I was like, that's it. I said, I love that, you know. And so he said, I said, can I have it? And so he said yes, and that and that I started writing with Tony Haynes.